do. Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got something a little different. I got Hank over here. You guys have never seen Hank. This is Hank Unfiltered. I cannot wait for his YouTube channel to be up and running, going consistently. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the man who first looked at me and said, Obama is the worst president that we have ever had in history. And I didn't know much about politics. And I was like, is my friend racist? I was like, what's going on here? Because that's not what news tells me. But later on, I figured out he was very, very right. He's also the person who introduced me to Rules for Radicals, which helped me understand what's going on in the left-wing landscape perfectly. And I've been able to point out all the nonsense ever since. So thank you so much for that, Hank. He's here. We're going to be doing this weekly, a little breakdown, no Joe Rogan stuff, maybe a little Joe Rogan stuff here and there. But this is like a weekly news breakdown of, a lot of things that have been going on, and we're just going to cover it, and that's how we're going to do it. I know this is a little longer than most of the fans are used to. They're like, where's the clip already? Just relax. This is like a new show we're doing here, okay? A lot of you have asked for this, and it's coming, all right? Don't worry, everything happens in steps. Anyway, Hank, what's going on?
Thank you for that amazing introduction, Coach. Good to be here. I'm excited.
Man, yeah. When you told me about Rules for Radicals, because I listen to you when you tell me things, and I went and actually got it on Audible, and I listened to it, and I started going through it and watched YouTube videos on it, and I was like, wow, this is actually crazy. It's so apparent. Even more today. When you first told me about it, it was like you had to look here and there, but now it's ramped up so much. You see the playbook every other day in the news.
Yeah, it's something that these radicals are using each and every single day to try to test the limits of the American people throughout the entire world as well too. And quite honestly, it's dangerous because there's no end in sight. It's an endless mountain they're going to keep climbing, and they want to keep pushing those boundaries. And you give them an inch, they're going to just keep taking more and more. You got to stop it right from the very beginning. Do not give them an inch. They'll take something and they'll destroy everything you hold dear to your life.
Yeah. Because this is not what we're covering today, but yeah, just to touch on that, I was reading it, and that's one of the things. It's like, make more demands, and if your demands are met, make more demands.
Exactly.
And just make the demands ridiculous. Just like, reparations. It can't be done, but make that demand. And when they say they can't do it, you go, oh, well, look at these racist people not willing to do that thing for you guys. We're fighting for you guys. Elect us. We'll make sure you get reparations. How'd that go? Did Obama get everybody reparations? Was I not told?
I mean, I don't know. Did you get it?
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't get any checks. I've been doing Uber Eats since before this channel was made, so I'm not a millionaire or anything. So too bad. But I actually do want to talk about something. We have it on the screen here. Trump, Person of the Year. But there's something else that I have to show you. Let me jump over here really quick. This is breaking news that has just happened. Where are the bookmarks? Oh, I can't find my bookmarks. Let's just put in Trump ABC. Something spectacular has just happened. There it is. Breaking. ABC News forced to pay nearly $15 million to Trump to settle defamation lawsuit with George Stephanopoulos, whatever his name is, to issue a public apology.
Wow.
Is that not insane?
I mean, it's about time. We need some accountability in the media. So it's nice to see that maybe there's some hope for a new Trump administration to come in and hold these people accountable. But I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly.
Yeah, so just moments ago, ABC News has settled defamation lawsuit with Donald Trump, agreeing to pay $15 million. How wild is this? And this is because of what they said in regards to Jean Carroll. This gentleman who's on the screen right now said that Trump raped that woman, and he did not. And now they had to issue an apology, and also pay $15 million. So that is good news. That is very good news.
Oh, it's
As
fantastic news. We need more accountability like this throughout
as
America.
as they say, we are back. We are back.
Yeah.
Everybody is showing this whole thing. Incredible. Incredible that happened. But that was not what we were supposed to cover, but it was just breaking. It just popped up right as I was coming back from the washroom. So I just wanted to show that. But we're talking about we're going to be talking about Kash Patel, Biden selling off the border wall, him releasing $10 billion to Iran because that's a solid idea, and the drones all over New Jersey apparently. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
Let's
Obviously,
get into it.
I didn't tell you about Time Magazine, but we had to cover that just a little bit. It's amazing, this article right here. Difference what 8 years makes. Trump actually, I don't know if you know this. Trump was he was doing a speech, and he was so nice to the people of Time Magazine. He could have really laid into them with everything they've done, like that cover right there. It shows it just looks terrible, and they've done photos where his face is opposed on Putin's face. They've done a literal orange with a mouth as one of the covers. They've shown him getting tackled, attacked, all sorts of just wild things they've done to Donald Trump. But when he had the chance to actually lay into them in this speech, he decided to actually be very nice. He said, "You guys have done a great job." He goes, some of the covers I could do without. He's like, but for the most part, you guys do a great job. It's an honor. Thank you. I was shocked. I was shocked that he was willing to just be so nice about that.
This is a different President Trump that we're dealing with right now in 2024, though. I mean, the president that won in 2016, he never made a real pivot towards being a statesman like
Mm-hmm.
leader. And right now, we're seeing the second coming of Trump over here. We're seeing something he's an evolved man.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that gracious sense that he's, been putting forth to the public and trying to build bridges, accepting the honor of being person of the year. If it is an honor, I guess in some ways it is. Other times it's, as you see, a meltdown there from the left.
yeah.
You know, he's really a changed man. I'm happy to see the statesman like man come out. I wanted to see it in 2016, and I'm happy I'm seeing it in 2024.
Yeah, this is where the legacy's solidified. This is where it becomes solidified. You
Yeah,
know,
this is where he becomes like a George Washington like
yeah.
president. I mean, he is doing things that no one has ever done before, and I think we're on the cusp of a new revolution, a
Yeah.
very meaningful one.
Yeah, honestly, with his picks and everything that's been going on, just so you guys know, everything that you see on here is reposted onto my X. So if it's on X, just know I've reposted it. If you want to see anything, if I don't play a full clip totally, then you can just check it out on X. Here is Don Lemon speaking of this whole meltdown situation. Here's Don Lemon talking a little bit about that.
Now, if they wanted to make someone person of the year, they would have made someone who, and my God, I'm sure he loves this, right? If they wanted to make someone person of the year, I don't know, they could have done it with any person. They could have done it to someone who actually stood for democracy, who stands for democracy in the country. Now, you think about what encompasses person of the year. Just because you are elected president of the United States does not mean that you should be person of the year. What Time Magazine, what are you doing? Let me ask you, Time Magazine.
What?
What do you say to the women who, I guess, still read Time Magazine? Or the women who don't they do like a whole Time 100 thing or something, which, what about the women who are on that list? What about that? I'm sure some of them will had dealt with issues that women have to deal with, like discrimination in the workplace, SA, all kinds of things. You have someone on the cover of your magazine who is an adjudicated assaulter. You have someone who inspired an insurrection. You have someone who, without a doubt, the evidence is there, tried to overturn a free and fair election. You had someone who had multiple criminal counts and found guilty on multiple criminal counts. and you name them person of the year? Is this a joke? Did we get something wrong? Did someone scam us? Are we sure about this, producers? There is a convicted felon on the cover of Time magazine as the person of the year. Maybe we're being scammed. Did someone put out a fake tweet or something about this?
Hey, I bet George Floyd was on the cover of Time magazine back 2020.
Was he?
I bet he was. I wouldn't doubt it.
Hmm.
You know, he was everywhere, literally.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I just noticed. Don Lemon is very low energy. I am shocked
Of
at
course
how slow
he is.
this man talked. He said a whole lot of nothing, but yet something in just like 2 minutes. Like, what was that?
It's Don Lemon, man. This is just what he does. The fact that he even just said producers. This guy gets less views than this channel. How many producers you got, bro? What's going on? I'm alone in this room right now. You got producers? Bro, this guy's going to be bankrupt in just a little while. You got producers.
Yeah, you got to check it out what he was just saying there. He was saying how, what did he do by winning the presidency? For one, he won the presidency. So that's a pretty big deal. Okay. But, let's sidestep that for 1 second. He also unified both the Republican and Democratic parties together.
Yep.
That type of bipartisanship we have not seen since like 2014, 2015, maybe even before that, to be honest. I mean, during Obama years, they weren't really bipartisan either. That we had some people who were rhinos trying to cross the aisle, trying to make things work and whatnot. But right now, we have people like President Trump bringing many Democrats into the Republican Party and even finding common grounds with people like John Fetterman,
Yeah, true.
Very meaningful. That is why, along with the fact that he also got shot and survived and led the entire nation through a very traumatic incident with confidence and courage and just total, he was a class act throughout the entire thing.
What didn't he do? What didn't he do this year?
That's the
got
better
shot.
question.
He stood up. He said fight. He ran for president. He won. First off, he ran for president, knocked one guy out of the presidency, Joe Biden. Then said, okay, new opponent, 20 years younger, no problem. Steamrolled her. Like, what are we talking about here? Went on every podcast, went on Joe Rogan, got Joe Rogan to flip on his leftist ideology that he's held for a long time, Bernie supporter back in the day, got him to flip, endorse Donald Trump, interview Donald Trump after he said he didn't want to interview Donald Trump. Like, what are we talking about here? Got Elon Musk on board, Vivek on board, all sorts of incredible people on board. Like you said, unifying people. What hasn't he done? Like, are you kidding me right now? And then we have people on Blue Sky.
Unified the entire, most of America, the majority of it at this point right now, is in itself so meaningful.
Yeah, you were the one that said to me, you were saying it's the Unity Party. It doesn't even look like the Republican Party anymore. You're the one that said that to me, and I started looking at it. I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
Well, check it out. JD Vance was a never Trumper, and I mean, he's got him over. Vivek, he voted for Obama. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But look, he brought him over. Musk, he was a Democrat. Somehow now he's running Doge.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard, another great name right there. She's now joined the Republican Party too. I mean, he has brought over RFK now too. I mean, these are just some of the big names, but what matters is the grassroots. You look through America, you look through all the states, he won every single one of those swing states. To do that, you have essentially, he's become a cultural icon at this point. And that's a big thing that's different between 2020 and 2016. We didn't see that in 2016. When he won, the media went full-blown attack. They had a meltdown, admittedly so, but he was not mainstream. Right now, he's becoming a mainstream icon, and I'm loving every bit of it. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah. But on Blue Sky, they have a different opinion. They don't care what Time Magazine says. This is my person of the year is Kamala Harris. Time got it wrong. So did America. I love that stance of America just got it wrong. Every single person who thought differently than me, they got it wrong. There you go.
Yeah, they're all garbage people, right?
Yeah. Blue Sky for you. Hey, have you been on Blue Sky?
Who's on Blue Sky?
Oh, don't
seriously. Who's even using it?
It's Don Lemon just giving low energy posts. He's just like, "Hey guys, what are you
Yeah.
doing?" Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I did an episode on it, as you know, and I found a Don Lemon poster too, and I was like, "This is so dry." Like,
Is
it's just
Kamala Harris
terrible.
on there?
I don't know. I don't know where she is. I know her campaign. I think everything associated with her campaign on X, they deleted all their accounts. The headquarters account, they just deleted everything, so they're
They're
gone
in
now.
retreat.
Yeah. I think she's probably still there just because she's vice president right now. But I think as she leaves, as she leaves out of office, she'll be off X as well. You know, I brought up a good point to pat myself on the back. What they want with Blue Sky is they want a place where they can still have division. Elon Musk has made it so X no longer has this one-sided conversation going on, and now you get a real snapshot of society. It's like, yeah, you see racism, you'll see anti-Semitism, you'll see left-wing ideology, woke, all sorts of different things, but you're getting a real snapshot of what everybody has to say. And that's a good thing because now you can call people out where need be. You can point out who's wrong, who's right. Community Notes corrects things. And as soon as the left saw that, they all retreated, all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you actually look, there was a recent poll. I'm not sure who was running it, but Musk actually tweeted it out about 14 hours ago. And it shows that X is quite even. It's 48% Democrat and 47% Republican. But if you talk to the left, they would tell you that it's some right wing,
Of course.
crazy place where everyone there is a MAGA,
Of
extremist or whatnot. But they're not used to having to debate people on these issues and to have conversations with people that are outside of their own flock. They love that echo chamber.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're retreating to Blue Sky. I mean, at least the ones that can't handle, public discourse.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. All right, moving on. Kash Patel. Kash Patel stepping in. This might be the most radical choice for FBI director ever. We got a bunch of clips from Kash just talking about him. I already did an episode. You already know because you help out with the channel. But Kash Patel, the reason that the deep state hates him is because of everything that he stands for and everything that he's willing to do. And the glaring fact is he has been, if we talk about the deep state, he was I believe he was deputy director of the national intelligence. I'm pretty sure he was the deputy, like second in that command, like the position that Tulsi Gabbard's taking right now. I'm pretty sure that's where he was. So if you want to talk about deep state, he could be considered a deep state figure, but he's one of the most transparent people in the intel community. And he's just been very open about everything that's gone on with him and everything that's gone on with the FBI. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping he brings in a reckoning to the whole law enforcement agencies. I mean, the federal law enforcement agency has been weaponized right now. And I mean, we really need to start holding people accountable. And Kash, I think, is the guy to do it.
Yeah. So let's play some clips from Kash just so people understand exactly why he's so hated. The episode that I just filmed, I was doing the same thing with Pete Hegseth. I wanted people to understand, to actually hear what he has to say, but then show what the mainstream has been showing of him. And it's just been a pure smear campaign. But let's hear from Kash a little bit.
Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list. And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word or whoever that guy is as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. Bill Gates is lobbying Congress.
First clip from Kash Patel coming in hot.
He's ready for a fight. And that's why Trump is putting him in office right there, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, that was like calling out Bill Gates, calling out the Republicans, which, Trump, I've talked about it before. Trump calls out both sides. A lot of people think he's like, obviously right-wing dictator, whatever. he'll call out a Republican that he doesn't think is doing the right thing right away. And obviously Kash is the exact same way, although he is in another clip that I'll be showing, one left-wing person called him the Trumpiest Trump guy there is. He's still willing to call out Republicans, which is incredible. And he wants that list out. He is saying day one, Epstein, Diddy, those lists released. That's what he wants to do day one. Now, I don't know if he can get it done right on day one, but that's a main agenda point that he wants, that transparency there.
Mm-hmm. No, we need that kind of transparency. We definitely do. I think Kash, I think he is a loyalist. Don't get me wrong. He is loyal to President Trump, but he's not just loyal to President Trump. He's loyal to America, and he's got a strong North Star.
Yeah.
So I think that we're in good hands with him.
Yeah, I really do. It's interesting. It's, I always talk about on this show, I always talk about the tinfoil Speedos. You got to keep your tinfoil Speedo on because, that conspiracy water gets deep. And it's always hard to think in my head, like, I'm rooting for this FBI director. Like, that's not how this goes. This is not what we do in the conspiracy community, but I like this guy. I really do, but on the same note, if he does not do anything, I will call that out just as quick if he doesn't actually step up and do what he's saying,
The American people, they, conspiratorial or not, they want answers, and that's part of it. And Kash is going to give us those answers.
Yeah, I really do think so. All right, let me just make sure to repost. I'm forgetting to repost here. Let's play another clip from Kash.
I think as a former federal prosecutor and a public defender who defended a lot of these types of cases, what you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th, because if you can show that, they've been out. Hang on. But the paperwork shows having run informants, that's a 6-month buildup minimum.
Right.
Minimum. It's not like they just dropped them into the Proud Boys and said, hey, go, don't disrupt, please. So once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation. Forget what the videotape shows.
Just for people who you can't see what's going on in the room, the reason why Kash just said hang on or whatever is because I started smirking and rolling my eyes. And what I meant to convey with that is, come on, we know they were involved.
No, look, I totally
let me clarify,
agree.
though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know definitively. What I'm saying is a reasonable suspicion is that there were agents. There's a video showing a guy with an earpiece pulling people into the building. All right. Mm-hmm. You combine that with the evidence of Ray Epps, and it looks like you have a preponderance of evidence suggesting there may have been federal law enforcement involved in making that thing happen.
I'll get you beyond a reasonable doubt.
All
Two
right.
pieces of information. Ray Epps was on FBI's most wanted list one day, and the next day he was off of the FBI's most wanted list. There are only two ways that happens. You die, or your informant. Put that aside. Under congressional testimony, Jill Sanborn, who I used to work with, the head of the FBI Counterintelligence Division, in charge of all these investigations, testified under oath when Senator Cruz asked her, flat out, were there federal agents involved with January 6th? And she said, quote, Senator, I can't answer that at this time. Not if the answer was definitively no, having been a DOJ FBI guy myself, she would have gone there and said, nope, absolutely not. The reason she said I can't answer that is because of the same stonewalling they gave us during Russiagate with Christopher Steele, Halper, and everybody else. It's the same narrative, and I'm telling you they were there.
So you're saying that she said I can't.
Wow. Kash Patel, not playing around. Not playing around whatsoever. And it turns out that was true. I guess
there were 26 FBI informants.
Yeah, apparently, right? Did that just break yesterday? Or
I think it did. And I mean, you have to remember too, I mean, some of these leaders, I think they were being questioned by the congressional side of things. And they straight up were saying like, no, we had nobody there, completely denied it.
Yeah.
And of course, another conspiracy theory has come true. 26 FBI informants have been confirmed that they were present there on January 6th. So
yeah, wild. One of them was definitely Nick Fuentes. Sorry for all you diehard Nick Fuentes fans. One of them was definitely him. For him to be yelling, "Go inside the Capitol," and not get arrested. Hey, come on, that's enough. That's enough. Him and Ray Epps have tea together. because he's not masculine. He doesn't drink coffee. He drinks tea. Probably peppermint for his tummy. You know, that's what he calls it. Calls it
You
his
can't
tummy.
use the word tummy. You're grown, man. You can't say that anymore.
Oh man, but no. Just touching on this whole thing with Kash Patel again. This is the reason why, and you know, it's actually, it speaks to his character because he is calling out all these people, but at the same time, he's not getting a reaction like Matt Gaetz got, where so many people were like, he will not be confirmed. He will not be confirmed. Everybody understands Kash Patel is very, very qualified for this position, and no one's really standing up saying, I'm not going to confirm that guy. Everybody seems to be singing his praises. It's very interesting.
He's very competent. I mean, there's no question about it. So, I mean, anyone that is essentially going to protest it, I would probably say they probably have to be questioned and looked into themselves because they probably have something to hide. So, you know.
All right, let's play this next one. Listen to this.
Then we need to decrease what I call government creep with personnel. The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big. And the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Then we need to decrease what...
That's amazing. That sounds incredible that he wants to do that type of thing. Now, again, I don't know how much of this he can just do right off the bat in this position, but I would think a considerable amount, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would say there's probably limits in scope. I mean, look,
Yeah.
We're talking about draining the swamp here. It's something that even President Trump himself wanted to do, but you know, there's a lot of resistance. That swamp is very deep. So you can expect that things aren't going to go as smoothly as you hope, but I'm hoping that they got a lot of bipartisanship right now going on, and he's won a lot of people over. And I think that that's going to make a big difference, especially Doge. I really think that Doge is going to make a big difference in trying to cut the fat, you know, off of American bureaucracies, and it's got to go. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you say? There was 700 people or 7,000 there?
7,000.
7,000 people sitting in an office doing
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. You don't, and that's another thing. It's like doing what? You don't
Are they even
know.
in the office though? I mean, Elon
There's
Musk
a-
keeps suggesting that most of them are working from home.
Yes.
So
Working from home, and the way that they have it is they have to be in the office once a month. So how they position it is that they're in at the end of a month and then the next day at the beginning of a month. So they're in that 60-day span, 61, whatever, they're in the office for 2 days.
yeah, but they still haven't told us why President Trump's assassins, like his house was scrubbed. Like we have no information about that at all.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's but they're working from home. Maybe that's why they don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe they should go pay a visit to the apartment and scrub it, you know, a little bit further. I'm sure there's some evidence there that they left behind.
Nah, it got scrubbed. It's weird how it got scrubbed because they're saying it got professionally scrubbed, but the guy lived with his father, I believe. So was the dad in on that scrubbing? Did they do it when he wasn't there? Like I really don't. There's just no answers to that. You know, it's crazy we know more about that Luigi Mangione guy than we do about Matthew Thomas Crook.
Yeah, but it's been like
weird.
6 months. Like I'm convinced they just walked into the apartment and just willfully were blind and just like I don't know what's going on here. I don't see anything. And like meanwhile, there's tons of stuff everywhere. Like there's no way that it's just been completely scrubbed and there's nothing there. There's got to be videotapes, cameras, something. I mean, recordings, notes.
He's the only kid who didn't have an online presence.
Yeah, well,
How about that?
ain't that something, huh?
You know what I mean? Here, let's listen to this. This is the mainstream on Kash Patel, and I don't know if you could guess. It's probably not positive, but let's see.
Patel to potentially lead the FBI is bringing increased attention to Patel's extreme views and his so-called enemies list. In his 2023 book, government gangsters, Patel has an entire appendix listing what he calls members of the executive branch deep state. The list, which contains 60 names, including Democrats, Biden administration officials, and even some Trump appointees. Among them, former Attorney General Bill Barr, former Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein, Trump's former White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, and Special Counsel Robert Hur. In the book, Patel also calls for firing the top ranks of the FBI, prosecuting leakers and journalists, and replacing the national security workforce with people who don't undermine the president's agenda. Yesterday on Capitol Hill, some senators were asked about Trump's selection of Kash Patel.
You know, I don't know him. I have read some of his comments and seen them, and I think that's the reason that this process starting earlier is much to our benefit. We're going to get a chance to sit down. I'll get a chance to talk to him. I have a big FBI presence in my state. We do all the background checks for all the guns, and it's an important part of the FBI's mission, and I want to see it protected.
If you have the power of that office, the FBI directorate, and you're using it to go after political enemies or the press or people you regard as adversaries, that's worse than incompetence. That's abuse of power that you have. And that power is awesome.
You know, we're talking right now about the potential replacement, though, for Christopher Wray, somebody Donald Trump appointed in 2017, somebody that has bipartisan support with many senators on the Republican side and the Democratic side. He's supposed to have a 10-year term that started in 2017, but there has been the signal from Donald Trump that he's going to fire Christopher Wray. And Willie, he's going to replace him. He wants to replace him. He wants to replace him with somebody that has an enemies list, somebody who was selling boots, cash boots a couple of years ago, but has an enemies list, and he's written it out, the people he wants to go after, a lot of Republicans, a lot of Democrats, a guy who has promised that he is going to go after reporters and journalists and arrest them for not following conspiracy theories about the 2020 election that have been disproven time and time again. Stand by. We're going to be talking about Dinesh D'Souza having to apologize in a second. And also saying he's going to shut down the FBI. He's going to clear it all out. This is, man, if it is not the most radical pick, it's one of the most radical picks. And again,
Joe, relax. I already support him. I already support him. You don't have to. He's just putting all the icing on the cake here. Just don't worry about it, Scarborough. We already think that he's great. He just named everything that's just fantastic. But not if you're one of these bad actors, obviously. You know, Kash Patel also got found. There was an intern under his desk. Hold on. No. That was Joe Scarborough. Sorry. No. Sorry. Never mind. We don't. Joe's a good man. He's a good man, Hank. We don't participate. We don't participate in saying things like that on this podcast. He's a good man. Little weird, but he's a good man.
He's not a good man. I'm just putting that out there. And I thought this was the party of like defund the police, and they're suddenly so concerned about FBI agents getting defunded. Like, so
that's
make it make sense, please. Go ahead.
That's actually a great point. You know, one thing I noticed in this clip, and again, guys, I'm reposting everything on X. There's like another 3 minutes, but I don't want to play the full 6 minutes. I'm not doing 6 minutes of Joe Scarborough, okay? Yeah, I'm not doing that. But a 10-year term is, I guess that's what Kash Patel will have as well?
Likely, yeah. That's
Wow. That's very interesting. So that would be through Trump, through the next administration, into the next. Whoa. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, let's hope that we have a strong successor to President Trump in 2028. Yeah. And he keeps him confirmed, assuming that he does his job and keeps his promises to America, right?
Yeah. True. I don't know who that could be. You know, I've talked about this with you on the phone. we've talked about it a bunch. It's either going to be like Don Jr., who's going to be stepping up for the Republicans, J.D. Vance, Tulsi RFK could be a ticket. RFK Tulsi could be a ticket. RFK Vance could be a ticket. Vance Vivek could be a ticket. It's just, there's just so many options within just that cluster of people. Elon Musk might end up being vice president somehow. Like that's a possibility. That
Can
could
he
happen.
be a vice president?
I think you have to be a naturalized citizen. I think that's what Kamala Harris is, because she grew up in Montreal, Canada, was over in California, forget where, I think Oakland or something like that, but I think she became a naturalized citizen. I could be
You have to be born in America to be president of the United States.
I think, well, from what I saw, president, but with the vice president, I think it's that you have to be a naturalized citizen. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be very interesting to see. I got a few more from, I'm just going to skip over to, let me jump over here really quick. They don't like Kash Patel, obviously. This is a very interesting one. I just want to play this one, and then I'm going to play the left-wing nut talking about Kash.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
And there's a lot of really good reason to be concerned because, the Ukraine was known as a, place of corruption, a place for money laundering.
Yeah. It's not like we sent $1 billion, as if that was even a small number to begin with, right? We've sent 100 times that to one country. I don't know how this Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said Russia fired a rocket into Poland, which would literally be an act of war. Well, it turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine and was fired into Poland.
And it was a mistake, basically.
If Zelensky's going to go out there and beg the world for more money and come to the U.S. and sit in the well of our Congress and say, we want more money, and then call and demand the new Speaker of the House provide more and more money, and call Mitch McConnell and say, we need more and more machinery, he needs to be more prepared about global statements that bring us to the precipice of war than doing what he did last fall with this missile attack, or this missile launch, I should say. And we just can't have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and having him say, I'm not telling you where the money went.
Man, that's a big thing for me, that Kash wants that looked into, in that position that he'll be in. The fact that he wants that looked into, because that's one thing that nobody wants for some reason. Nobody wants to know exactly where the money's gone. Like, why wouldn't you want to know that? It's so much money. For those other clips I'm not playing, just to say before you talk, Hank, I'm going to be posting them on X just so you guys know. It's just, I don't know how long we're going to make this episode, but we're already at a lot of time here, But this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get some long form stuff in. But yeah, what do you think of that? Looking into where the money is.
All he's asking for is accountability. It's crazy that we have gone so far down the path of insanity that asking your government officials in the FBI, in the White House, and now those who would just want to hand hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to have some semblance of accountability and explain themselves. Like, these are tough questions. These are radical questions, apparently, according to the left. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
it's crazy.
Look, we're not talking about some small money here. America's, they're going through some financial struggles right now. And quite honestly speaking, we really need to turn that around. And I'm excited to see what Doge does, because we got to get rid of that deficit. It's something else, but you can't get rid of it if you keep just handing out that kind of money without accountability.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, you're talking about financial struggles. I mean, it's just about how, like, Joe Rogan has done calculations on it, like how much to rebuild all the houses that were burnt down in Maui. It's like 5.6 billion, or it was 6.5 billion. It's like, okay, well, that could have been handled. How much is it to handle what's going on in Kensington, Philadelphia? It's basically like an open air drug den, like a massive one, basically. People just all over the streets and everything. How much is it to clean that up? Like, I don't know the numbers on that, but, probably, the money that went to Ukraine could have helped with that, could have covered that. There's homelessness everywhere. There's how much money, Nancy Mace talked about this. She was talking about how much money has been spent on the vets versus illegal immigrants. Or we can, take it into Ukraine. It's something like $10 billion spent on vets and 160, according to JD Vance, $160 billion spent on illegal immigrants. We're talking about almost $200 billion spent on Ukraine. It's like, what's going on? Like, people can see this. Like, guys who went and fought for the country, they're barely being taken care of. And this other country's being massively taken care of. And you can't know where the money is? It's crazy. It's so crazy.
And when you start asking questions, you're considered a radical too.
Yeah. On top of everything. I just want to play this guy really quick before we move on to the next topic. He brightens up my day, this guy.
All right, folks, we knew this was going to be bad, but this is really, really bad. Trump just nominated Kash Patel to be the director of the FBI. This guy is the Trumpiest Trump stooge that there is. Forget for a minute that he has no experience running an agency like this. He believes that the 2020 election was stolen. He fed the rumors about this deep state trying to get Trump, which was not true. He is the hackiest hack that Trump has in his back pocket. He's even said that he wanted to go after journalists who wrote negative stories about Donald Trump. Now, this guy is going to be one of the top law enforcement officials in the country. This guy will do anything for Donald Trump. No matter whether it's legal or not, he will do it. He is going to get rid of all senior level career law enforcement officials in the FBI and replace them with other Trump lackeys. This, I think, is the most dangerous pick yet, because this guy's going to be directly overseeing law enforcement on the ground across the country. I'm hoping that there are at least 4 Republican senators who will say no to this garbage, but I'm not sure. Everybody should be scared about this. Like, I can't even make jokes about this one. It is dangerous and reckless, and it could cause irreparable harm to the country.
This is amazing. I love these very serious, low information people on the left that just have all these things to say. Like, the deep state was never after Trump. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, do you want to talk about the assassination attempt and how weird that looks? You want to talk about, the roof was too sloped for anybody to be on that roof where the assassin was on. But then when you look where the other shooters were, the roof was even slopier. You want to talk, you really want to talk like what we just found out about J6? Like, do you really want to cover the deep state being against Trump and how it's not true? Like, come on, man. It's so ridiculous.
He's being disingenuous, just like so many people on the left.
Yeah, and of course, he has the patented Rachel Maddow glasses that they all have. I don't know where they all get them. They probably get sent them in the mail. You probably do a certain number of left-wing acts. You probably, you post a black square on your Instagram. You take a knee, you give $50 in reparations to a random black guy, and then they send you your woke glasses. They're like, here you go. It's like a Purple Heart for a soldier. Thank you for your service.
I'll take the Purple Heart any day over those glasses. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, that guy's a little ridiculous.
It's a liberal meltdown. What do you expect, right? Look, accountability is coming. They had their chance. There's been nothing but lawlessness over the last 4 years. Okay. We've seen it all. America has seen it. We've woken up. At least I hope many more people have woken up this time. And, big changes are ahead. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I'm going to play Trump. This will be the last one we do for Kash Patel. Let's move on to the other stuff. Let's listen to what Trump has to say.
If they think that somebody was dishonest or crooked or a corrupt politician, I think he probably has an obligation to do it. But
are you going to direct him to do it?
No, not at all. Not at all. We have 2 great people there. We have him and we have Pam. And Pam Bondi has been like a rocket ship. She's very popular and very good and very fair. And Kash Patel is very fair. I'll tell you, I thought Kash may be difficult because he's, a strong conservative voice. And I don't know of anybody that's not singing his praises. The other day I was watching, and Trey Gowdy, who's a moderate person and very smart and very respected in the party, he's Kash's biggest fan. He said, this is the most misunderstood man in politics. He's great. I guess they worked together on the Russia hoax or something. If they think that somebody was deciding.
Also, the last thing on Kash Patel, he is the one that uncovered the Russia hoax. So, I mean, just 5 stars in terms of a pick. There's just nobody better. Nobody better to be loyal to Trump that's not going to go around backstabbing him. But also nobody better who's going to actually do what the American people need done. That's what I think with this one.
Yeah, no, he's impressive. I mean, when he uncovered that was a very big deal.
Yeah.
But, I also got to say, though, it also showed Pam Bondi. I'm excited for her, too.
Yeah,
The left is scared of her. They are so scared of her right now.
Yeah, I was disappointed that Gates wasn't the one, but she is a good choice as well. But I was, because Gates is like, I was really hoping for Gates, but Pam is good too. She is good too.
But she's like a former Florida attorney general. So like she knows what she's doing here. And that's why the left is even more scared of her than they are of Matt Gates.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Matt Gates. We'll see what happens with him. But let's move on to Biden selling off the border wall, because who needs a wall when you want open borders? The last thing you need is pieces of a wall. Biden's like, what is this even doing here? Let's get rid of this. This could be buying valuable ice cream, double chocolate mint. Let's get rid of all this for cents on the dollar. Absolutely ridiculous. This is very much a backdoor move on Trump. Let's hear a little bit about it.
For sale and on the cheap, indeed. In their last weeks, the Biden administration is set to auction off sections of the border wall before President Trump takes office. Minimum opening bid starts at $5 for 20 tons of taxpayer-funded steel. Talk about a steal. William Lajeunesse has got the story in L.A. William, hello.
Good morning, Bill. This has been a debacle from the very beginning when President Biden stopped construction of the border wall on his first day in office, abandoning millions of tons of steel. So where is it now? Well, huge sections we found yesterday being trucked away from the border, being sold as scrap for pennies on the dollar. Even though President Biden knows the incoming administration wants this material, he is selling it. Hundreds of tons of state-of-the-art finished steel wall for almost nothing at auction sites like this one near Tucson, meaning taxpayers will likely pay twice for the same stuff. Now, the Biden team already sold most of an estimated $350 million worth of lights, wires, and these expensive steel bollards. According to the government auction site that they're using now, Biden is taking bids starting around $5 for each 40,000-pound lot of finished steel.
That's just a slap in the face, not just to the agents that are out there working, to the American public as a whole. They could have just left these panels alone.
So last year, we know the Biden administration sold about 700 of these 30-foot steel segments for roughly $200 a piece, meaning taxpayers took a loss of about $10,000 for each bollard. Now, President Trump installed 455 miles of wall. Another 250 miles was under construction when Biden stopped the project, refusing even to fill in the gaps in the fence that border agents begged him because the migrants were coming through. I found this pile of materials near Yuma about 3 years ago.
So what do you think about all this? Cents on the dollar. How much? $200 a pop. How much border wall do you want me to buy? I'll buy a whole bunch.
So I was going to say here, I mean, they said about 20 tons for opening bid $5?
No, it's wild what's going on. I'll buy some. They said each piece is what, $200? I think he said something along those lines.
Well, I think they said opening bid was $5 on 20 tons of steel. I mean, the going price on that I think is about like $13,600.
It's something crazy. There's a
so
lot of craziness going
I mean,
on.
when they're saying pennies on the dollar, I think they're being nice over here. We're practically just giving it away at that point.
I want some border wall. I think I'm going to take some, and I'm going to buy some if I can.
I mean, I almost feel like every American citizen should just do their civil duty and just spend like $1 or $5 worth and just give it back,
That would
assuming
be
they have it, that money, of course, it can be tough these times with Biden running the country right now. But my gosh, I mean, $13,600 worth of steel going for about $5.
Yeah.
Think about
yeah.
that. That's taxpayer dollars right there.
I'm interested. I don't know what he said $200 was, but I'll pay $200 if it gets me one of those little segments, even just for history. Like, this is the wall Trump built. I would definitely have that. But I guess you're right. I have to give it back. Especially being in Texas, I could literally drive it over there.
Well, Texas said they were going to do that. They said they'll buy the steel and give it back.
That's right. That is exactly what they said. Let's look at it a little closer here. So it looks like you're right. Open auction, $5 is the starting bid. It looks like Arizona. Yeah. It looks like you were right. $5. That is crazy. How much are you getting there? It says, I don't know if this 5. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but I don't know if this 5 means you get 5 pieces of this dimension of steel.
Well, the video, they said it was about 20 tons for about $5 opening bid. So if that assessment is correct, and it's about maybe $13,500 for 20 tons of steel, I mean, regardless, why are they working so hard to undermine the current administration that's coming in? I mean, it's not like, President Trump won the public vote, okay? The popular vote, all right? He flipped every single one of the swing states. I mean, they've won the House, they've won the Senate, and the presidency. There's a clear mandate that's been given to the Republican Party at this point right now. And any attempt to undermine this is a slap in the face to every single American and every one of their taxpayer dollars. It's abhorrent, it's grotesque. And I hope, once again, going back to accountability, I hope the people who are making these decisions are held accountable for it, because they know what they're doing. And you know what? These people, it's got to stop. They got to lose their jobs. There's no real reason why, when America has been, Republican Party has been given a mandate by the American people to completely undermine them in the way that in which they're doing it. It's disgusting.
It's very interesting, because there's some parts where you look at Biden and you're like, okay, he's fully undermining Kamala throughout the campaign. He's wearing the MAGA hat. He's so happy to see Trump when they come to the White House. Jill is so happy to see Trump when they're outside the White House recently in that photo taken. But then at the same time does these little backdoor things. So it's like, some people think, they really wanted Trump to win. But then at the same time, this starts to happen. But then there's also the aspect of, is Biden doing anything? Is he actually the one doing this? Is this really Blinken that's putting this into action? Because I really think Blinken is behind the scenes of a lot of this. A lot of what we've seen going on. I don't know, but it's sad to see. Let's see what this clip, if there's any audio on this one. So it looks like there's no audio. They're just showing the border pieces being taken away, how much there is, what they're doing with it. It's really sad, really sad. You could have just built the wall. You could have just kept building the wall. You really didn't have to stop. It was already in action. It was something that he could have just left alone. And instead, he just really took action on having it not happen. And then you get looked at crazy when you say that there are people advocating for open borders, or at the very least that everything we've seen with how many people have come over is intentional. It's wild to see. Look how much, that's all for sale. Everything you're seeing right there is for sale. All of it.
How can you not get angry seeing that?
Whew. And then there's some people who are like, oh yeah, I'd vote for Biden again. It's like, okay. All right.
Well, the majority of the country has spoken up and they don't want him there.
Yeah, exactly.
For good reason, as you can see.
Let's play this Jesse Water clip. Let's see what he's saying about it.
When Joe Biden took office, he immediately stopped construction on Trump's border wall. And $300 million of border wall material cooked and collected dust in the hot desert sun. Now the Biden administration is auctioning off the border wall for a loss, $212 a pop. The auction site, GovPlanet, isn't allowed to mention they're selling parts of the border wall, or they'll be fired. So if Trump's reelected and wants to finish construction of the wall, we're going to have to spend even more because Biden decided to have a fire sale on stockpiled wall. And Biden's not just selling our border wall. He's opening gaping holes in it so migrants can march through. But he's claiming he's opening holes in the border wall for antelopes. The endangered pronghorn antelope must be able to migrate quickly south into Mexico. It just must. These antelopes were actually airlifted to the border, so their new migration patterns must not be disrupted, which is weird because Biden said walls don't work. Apparently, they work on antelopes. Biden officials have welded open 114 gates on the Arizona-Mexican border to let the pronghorn roam more freely. And the cartel seized the opportunity and smuggled thousands of migrants from as far as China through these antelope openings. Just last month, more than 42,000 migrants crossed into Arizona using the little doggy doors. And most of them found no problem entering. Migrants even told reporters, quote, "We just walked in. It was so easy, we thought there was going to be more security."
You ever seen that one Turkish guy that's crossing the border? And he's like, I don't understand. He's like, I thought there would be more security. He goes, I'm good person, but you don't know. Some people not good. I mean, I thought he was so perplexed on how easy it was. He's like, there could be murderers. He's like, you don't know who all these people are. Like, it was like he literally crossed the border and became American. He was like, what is this? What's going on here? Why are you letting all these people in? Hold on. Stop this guy. This guy has a turban on. Hold on. Who are all these people? Out of nowhere, man. It was very funny to see. But what Jesse Waters just said, $300 million worth of border wall. That's a huge loss. $212 a pop. So that was around what we heard on the other one. Wild. You know, I'm glad that he cares about the antelopes. Like that's good, you know.
Oh, I mean, I care about the antelopes too, but I mean, if you're gonna weld open these freaking border walls, maybe put some border security agents nearby or some cameras or something to stop the flow of illegal immigrants into your country.
Or just keep it all sealed up and just have an antelope barbecue, man. Come on.
Too, I guess.
Right?
I might come after you for that one, but I mean,
come on. What are we talking about here? Let's just have some antelope burgers. Don't worry about them going through the wall. You kidding me right now? But that's actually a very funny and sad excuse because there's, you know why it's really sad? Because a guy like the guy I just played with the Rachel Maddow glasses, he's gonna be like, actually, it's actually open for the antelopes, just so you know. It's not for people. That's not actually why Biden did that. So you're wrong. He's gonna be saying that at parties. Okay, that's what makes that very sad.
Yeah, it gives them a way to deflect from the real issue, and that's illegals are coming through and you're opening up holes in the wall so that they can just walk right through.
Yeah, it's interesting state of affairs that he's selling all this off. This is just Daily Wire showing that again. Donald Trump obviously sounds off on this one. Joe Biden keeps talking about a smooth transition and a unified government, yet he races to sell desperately needed border wall for pennies on the dollar. It will cost the U.S. a fortune and time to get the exact same wall to replace what has been sold, and the new wall will cost triple. It is crazy and must be stopped. How about
I was going to say also, I mean, there's been inflation too. Like the cost of lumber and building materials have gone up quite a bit since 2020. So when he says it's going to cost triple, I mean, you better believe him because, I mean, with the inflation that's happened, I mean, you're going to be paying a lot more for that wall than you were paying back in 2016, 2017, 2018, and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah. It's going to cost a lot. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense why this had to happen. You know, Biden's obviously not going to explain it. I'm sure Peter Doocy is going to ask Karine Pierre why this is happening. She's probably going to say it's not happening. Just regular administrative stuff. They're just going to be like, that's not actually happening. Peter's going to be like, I bought three structures of the wall. I have them right here. You must have stole those, Peter. I'm going to call security right now. That's basically what's going to happen. She's going to deny it like she always does.
I mean, deny, deflect, distract, right?
Yeah. Yeah. From that episode we got through just this week, I believe. Yeah. Deny. What is it? Distract, depose, I believe they said when it comes to Luigi.
Yeah, I mean, there was something. There was about 4 Ds, I think they said.
Oh, in the Joe Rogan episode, yeah, distract, dismay, dismiss, the 4 Ds to like what was it? Counterintelligence or censorship, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the other topic. Hopefully, I will end it with this. Hopefully Texas does buy it. Hopefully Texas actually does that. They buy it, they hand it off to Trump, and they just keep on going. That would be great. It's still going to be a loss, but at least it's in the hands of people who can just directly hand it off to Trump, because otherwise, who's buying it? They're just melting it down. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think actually what's happened is because of the, breaking news and the coverage of it, I believe they've actually taken it down. So hopefully, at least that's what I've heard. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't trust them though. So, they could always find another way to get rid of it some other way. You know?
Exactly. We'll see.
But hopefully that coverage did, made a difference.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the drones. Bunch of drone footage. I'll just silence this because there's probably nothing important. Nice 9-second clip. A lot of drones people are seeing on Bright Beach, New Jersey. A lot of people are seeing little images of drones. What else are they seeing here? Let's show another one. This one freaks me out. Here, look at this one.
Look, nothing in the sky at all. Then all of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is? We're in the middle of the ocean on a ferry. Nothing around. Look, nothing around. No land, no nothing.
I'm going to be honest. There's no way. I know some people are speculating aliens and this and that. There's no way this doesn't belong to a country. Like, I believe in aliens. I believe we're not alone. But there's no way this doesn't belong to a country. There's just no way. No way at all.
I mean, it's quite disturbing. I mean, so from what I've seen, these drones, they're actually coming out of the water and going into the water too. There's reports that there's a mothership, and then apparently some other people came out and tried to say that there wasn't a mothership in the Atlantic. But I did a lot of research on that, and it seems like they're going right into the water and coming up from it too.
That makes it weird because that makes me believe that it is aliens. You see now I'm all discombobulated. Now I believe, because there's a lot of speculation that a lot of these crafts that are like UFOs are going into the water, coming out of the water. Now this is Hank's first podcast on this channel, so I don't know if he has his tinfoil Speedo yet, but your boy, I talk about Hollow Earth quite a bit, and these guys could easily just be in the water. Tucker Carlson talks about how these crafts and these beings, they've always been here. They're not from another planet. They're in the water and they come out because there's a civilization down there. Okay? All right? I'm just saying, I don't know what to believe now that you just brought that up. Okay? So
well, I mean, if you want to get even weirder, apparently they give off like no heat signature. So when ever someone tries to make contact and they fly their drone up and they're trying to find some way to communicate with it, it just disappears and they have no idea where it's going.
But, at the same time, as much as I love to think about aliens and stuff, I have to think, well, you just have new technology that you're not telling the public about, Like,
I mean, people wonder if it is that, but I mean,
I would think so, man. I mean, these defense contractors, the governments all over the world, they don't stop working on technology. They don't stop working on defense technology, on weapons. They don't stop. It doesn't stop ever. Trump is anti-war, but they didn't stop trying to make weapons because Trump was in office. They keep on trying to make these things constantly. They're constantly improving. It's constantly getting stronger and stronger. So to think that there couldn't be a drone or some kind of ship, moving object, whatever, that could just disappear off of their radar. It's like, come on. Let me play this clip. Let's see what this one's about.
One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, you know, to me, it's if this is not our military, then it's even more scary, and we need answers, frankly. One of their officers called.
That is crazy. Come on, 50 just appear. See, this is the reason why I think that it is U.S. technology. Is because the U.S. hasn't gone just complete lock down the air. What the hell's going on? Like they've been very calm about the whole thing, seemingly. But you think they would be like, oh, there's a bunch of drones coming over to where we are, and they're here day after day. Everyone in New Jersey, like either evacuate or lock down. You think they would just put some measures into play out of nowhere, or at least you'd see jets flying around trying to track these things. You don't see any of that though.
I don't know. I'm not so sure. See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, we had the Chinese balloon flying over the United States, and the Biden administration did nothing. Okay. They were hovering over military installations all over the place. Mm-hmm. And they took zero action against a balloon. Okay. Now, these are advanced drones. And I mean, like, really advanced to the point where we are using actual drones from police forces to go up there, check them out, what's going on, and nobody knows anything. I'm concerned they're coming from China. That's the truth. I mean, the reality is 1 second there's a Chinese balloon that we're refusing to shut down. Now we have drones flying over. And last I checked, Biden's pardoning a bunch of these Chinese people who are apparently convicted of some abhorrent things.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, like, if you put it together, maybe he's doing that so that these drones don't strike us, or who knows what else? I mean, who knows? Maybe they're using them as ransom. Say, listen, you can't stop the drones. And guess what? If you don't commute these sentences, we're going to have a big problem here. Who knows?
Wow. Yeah. Hank is playing 5D chess, ladies and gentlemen. You get your honorary tinfoil Speedo. Just let us know what your size is. I'll make sure they get it out to you ASAP.
Big.
You're gonna be a flat earther in no time.
You won't find me in that form, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. I did an interview with one of Joe Rogan's really good friends, and just high level in the conspiracy world. He's up there, Eddie Bravo. And right away, we're talking before the episode, and he's like, just the fact that you're open, he's like, you're gonna be a flat earther in no time. And I'm like, I'm just open to discussion. Like, I want to talk about things. Like, I'd love to hear, what you think, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're going to be there. You're going to be there. He sent me like a couple documentaries and stuff. I was like, okay. I actually watched them. I'm not there. Not quite there.
You won't find me there. I'll tell you what, if Elon Musk comes out as a flat earther, you'll find me there. Okay. Until the day he does, I'm going to stick with what we know about the world today.
Yeah, right. That would be very interesting. That'd be a very interesting day. Very interesting day. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene on the subject. I think she's kind of in your camp. She's not buying what the government's telling her right now.
Well, number one, I'm going to call it total that no one knows what these are. And I think it's a slap in the face to the American people to say they don't know what this is. They can track down a guy that just killed a CEO, but they can't identify what nightly drones are and where they're coming from. I think that is absolutely disgusting to lie to the American people like this, and the truth needs to be told about it. Secondly, if they're telling the truth, then this country is in horrible shape. We're all in danger. I mean, seriously, if our great government can't identify what these drones are that are flying every single night that people are sitting out there videoing with their cell phones, then no American is safe. And I have no respect if our government cannot say what these are.
So if we don't know who they are, right, so it's got to be somebody else, or they're just not telling us and they know who it is. And some people have said maybe it's, you know, for an adversary. What do you think?
I seriously don't know, but I think they know. I think our Pentagon knows. Our Pentagon should know, right? The Department of Defense absolutely should know. And I'm not privy to that information. I'm not independent. We're not in control yet. But I'll call them a bunch of liars, and I think they're full of.
Because they're saying they don't know. So it's like, if you don't know, then...
If they don't know, they need to resign in shame. That's what I think. And we need people in charge that can know what this is. But I don't buy it at all. Yeah.
I think one day she's gonna run for president. This could be a problem for whoever's up against her.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, she's very fiery with what she has to say. She could be, you know, after these huge, incredible Titan people that are like probably going to be running for president, Tulsi, RFK, JD, all those people. She could be like the second, third coming of MAGA, of Trump. She could definitely be that. Like, definitely. She's pretty say what she means right away, you know? Like, she doesn't hold back.
Well, I'll tell you, I agree with her. This is absolutely insane. You know, it seems to be that these drones continuously are flying over New Jersey. And don't get me wrong, they're going to some other places too, it seems like. But it's largely a recurring thing that they're right there on the New Jersey shore. So,
yeah,
you know, is it that difficult to scramble some jets at night and just have them shoot them down? And if they want to say, like, I remember Biden's gave us a cop-out answer when they said, okay, that Chinese balloon, you know, we don't want to shoot it down because it can hurt people down below or whatever. Look, they're flying over the ocean. Just shoot them down while they're not, you know, in some highly populated area.
True.
But right now, they're doing nothing. And they're leaving everybody in the dark. And I don't think it's aliens. I'm going to just put that out there. I think that this is a foreign adversary. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, it seems like when I say our technology, human technology, just seems like it's just high level, you know? Doesn't seem like it's alien technology per se, although I would love that. I would love to, you know, that we were at that part of the simulation that aliens start to pop up. But also, you know, since you just got your tinfoil Speedo, I'm going to introduce you to a little something called Project Bluebeam. Take a listen.
Project Bluebeam. Can you describe what that is? It's the ability to stage, through very advanced technologies, an alien attack or an alien event. And it's a whole series of them. Now, what most people don't know about, since late 50s, early 60s, like the Barney Hill case and all that, those were all human assets abducting innocent people made to look alien. And so that psychological warfare was authorized in 1953, 54. 1954, we mastered gravity control. So we started deploying these assets to begin to condition the public that there's a scary threat from outer space. I mean, look at Hollywood, Alien, you know, Ridley Scott's movies. If you want to see a script for what's coming fairly soon, look at the movie Independence Day. Okay. It's right out of central casting for this covert group. So what their whole purpose is to create sort of a global militarized totalitarian superstate of the world fighting another world. It's like War of the Worlds. Okay. And that's been a 70-year defense.
So that's Project Bluebeam. That's like a well-known one of those things, you know, like Roswell and Area 51 is like people know about Project Bluebeam. So that could be what's on the rise. A lot of people think that that's what's going on, is that they're prepping. That's why in the past, I don't know, I'd say 12 months, it's like Congress is having conversations about UFOs. They're constantly like, oh, we found this. Mexico's like, we found a little alien man. And all of these government officials are now coming out and talking about UFOs, openly talking about UFOs. All of these whistleblowers are now talking about UFOs. Someone named David Grush was a whistleblower as of he was on Joe Rogan a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, not sure. But then Joe Rogan had another guy on who was a whistleblower talking about UFOs. The reason that I don't believe these guys, and I think they're frauds, and a lot of people push back on that, is because they're a whistleblower, right? So this is what this whistleblower on Joe Rogan's saying. He was on Patrick Bet-David's as well. He's like, there's only so many things I can tell you because I still work for the Pentagon, so I'm just going to tell you what they allow me to tell you. What? That's not a whistleblower. You're a guy from the Pentagon who's here to tell us the truth. And I just don't think that's real, right? So they've been like prepping. All these people have been prepping for a long time. A lot of people think that it's leading up to a Project Bluebeam scenario.
Yeah, so actually, just before you were going to play that clip, you mentioned that I just earned my tinfoil Speedo, and I was going to comment on something very similar to that video that, I'm kind of anticipating over here that we're going to have some sort of COVID, Russia hoax, something big is on the horizon that these leftists are going to try to do. And I kind of can't put this past them. This very possibly could be a government psyop. And, I would not put that out. It's very possible.
Yep.
We're not that far from Trump being sworn in, and I'm expecting them to do something to undermine his administration in a meaningful way. And who knows? Maybe this is it. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd. Joe Rogan actually commented this. Joe Rogan himself was like, "This is what the kids call sus." Because this is actually a White House talking about the drones seen overhead. This is what they had to say about the whole thing.
I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. Now, that said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage. While there is no known malicious activity occurring, the reported sightings there do, however, highlight a gap in authorities. And so we urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
So
I just want to add...
That sounds like a power grab. But go on.
No, yeah, go ahead. You think it's a power grab?
I mean, it could be so many different things, but like what they're doing now is trying to find a way to create another government side to freak out Americans to give up more rights, more control, just like they did in COVID. I mean, it just has that written all over it too, right? I mean, it could be so many different things, but I mean, what he said there is, we know that they're not trying to harm us, but despite us not, knowing really anything else besides that, you need to give us more power. What more power do you need?
Yeah,
Scramble the National Guard, scramble the military, scramble whatever jets you need, get them to fly over and shoot a damn thing down and inspect it, figure out what it is. They don't need to give up more rights and more power. The power's there.
Well,
it's a power grab.
President Trump completely agrees. He said mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know now. Otherwise, shoot them down. That is what he wants. He's like, shoot them down right now. Trump would have already shot them down. Trump would have already had them shot down 100%. Because the thing is, if you don't know that they're going to harm people, that's all well and good. But why take the chance day in, day out? Like, are you waiting to see if they do that? Are you waiting to see if there's some kind of threat? Like if Canada, if China, or if a Canadian airspace was violated, or if a Chinese airspace was violated, they would not figure out who you are and everything. They would come up to you. Another jet would come right up beside you and say, you need to leave. You need to leave this airspace immediately. If you don't leave, we're shooting you down. That would be
100%.
it. You do that with Russia. That's what Russia would do. That's what America, like, I just don't understand why they're not taking the same exact precautions. Just,
It's just so confusing because they seem to know so much, but yet know nothing at the same time. And that's a paradox right there in itself.
Yeah.
But, something else I want to point out over here, though, if you look up different military installations in New Jersey, it does look like, they have the Naval Air Engineering Station building in Lakehurst, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
It looks like it. I'm looking up the military installation on Google here.
Oh.
But so apparently they have the Naval Air Engineering Station. So it's possible it could be some new technology too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they pull out new technology. Maybe they're testing it against their own people as a government to see what type of effect it has on the general public concern and see how that maybe could be used to manipulate other countries as well. We know that some democratic countries, and I say that in quotations, have admittedly committed a complete government during COVID against the citizens, and they've admitted to it as well. So I wouldn't put that past them over here. But there's other things in New Jersey too. You also have the Naval Weapons Station in Earl, Joint Base McGuire, Dix Lakehurst, and it looks like there's some other ones too that maybe are a little bit more under the radar there. But I don't trust anything about what's going on here, and the American people, they deserve answers. They deserve them right now.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into Patrick Bet-David. He had a view on this whole thing going on. He got pretty heated about it. You don't usually hear Patrick get super heated about anything on his podcast, but this time he did, in terms of the drones and what he thinks should happen to them.
Then we would investigate and find out this guy out of Carolina who was selling to somebody while the wife wasn't there, and the wife's the licensed one. We called every one of the clients that day. It took us one day to realize she doesn't sell. He sells. How long did it take us until we terminated this guy? 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, listen, we made the decision immediately.
But you know what happens? Then comes social media, then comes Zoom, then comes every time we have to accelerate the process of the threat and how people try to take advantage. You're supposed to move quickly. Right now with us in Vitamin and BDC, we're going through it right now. You investigate quickly. Like, whoa, you're using that for this? Really? What? You were doing this? Interesting. Well, that's double down, but guess what? It's a crime. Here we go. We got to do what we got to do. If you want to go, you go through it. But you're telling me for something like this, they need to put a law. Where I'm going with this is if you think deep fake of a girl that she's not in it, but she's being used and should be a crime, which I agree. If you're going to do that, should be a crime. Guess what? What's the new crime that we want to put with drones? It needs to be a crime. It needs to be a crime. If it's either crime or you shoot it down. If it's not our drone and we don't know whose it is, no one's taking ownership, shoot the down. Don't sit on it since the 18th. How? By the way, if you're watching this, I'm curious whether you agree with me politically or not, because there's about 15% of you that watch this, that you watch it because you don't agree with us, which you have no idea how important you are, and I love it. You tell me, left, right, center, wherever you are. I want one person to tell me a good argument on why you're okay with the drones being up there and the U.S. government telling us they don't know what it is and we're not shooting those things down. Tell me one person, aside from safety reasons, which I agree with you on where it crashes, aside from safety reasons, give me one reason why those drones shouldn't be shut down. Why not? Do you have one? You don't have one. I don't have one. The hell are we doing? What are we doing? And where? In an area that's the financial capital of the world, Bedminster president. What? This is... Anyways, we got to go to the next story because this is really just very annoying. Security is your number one job as a man and a husband and a father. Security is your number one job as the FBI director, the president. The current president is Biden. VP Kamala, that's your job to protect me, you, us, our families. You're not doing it. What the hell are you waiting for? It's a basic phone call. 2 hours, call every head of state. What the f is going on here? Is this you? Because I'm shooting this shit down. And I swear to God, if I find out it's you, it's over. Do you understand me? You think I'm playing with you? We're not. What do you want to do? It's ours. Take the shit down right now. Out. And whatever you have, give me every single file. And if you don't, public scrutiny and 200, 300% of tariff coming your way and sanctions on your country for 1 year. I swear to God, the fear of death is coming your way. Closest thing to it. This is like... Anyways, let's go to the next story. Frick.
He never gets like this. He never gets like that, man. But he's right. 100% right.
He is.
And that would be a great tactic, too. Sanctions on your country. Like, just put it out to the world. Whoever this is, if it's there's going to be major sanctions coming your way.
Yeah,
and possible war. Like, that's it.
I mean, he makes a good point, though. Whatever side of the aisle you fall on, you should care about this. This is the safety of every single American right now. And the fact that we're not getting answers here, and they're leading to all sorts of public speculation of, we've pulled out the Speedo and we said it's aliens, maybe it's a psyop. Who knows what else it can be, foreign entities. You know what? They really need to come forth and start doing something about this. They should have done it a long time ago, and he has every right to be pissed off, and I am too. I hope you are too, Coach.
Yeah. It's something. It's something to behold that they're just doing things like this. But there's only so many things to be pissed about. So I'm a little more pissed off about this one. Biden giving Iran access to $10 billion. You corrected me there. They're giving access. They're freeing up $10 billion for Iran currently. I believe it was at the beginning of Biden's administration. He freed up $6 billion. Something along those lines. That's what he did when he first got in office, and then later, like maybe no, he freed up. It wasn't when he first got in, but he freed it up, and then months later, October 7th happened. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. Like there's a correlation between October 7th and him freeing up that money. Like it's very close in proximity.
Well, it seems like there's a growing trend of Democrats funding the Iranian regime. We can go back to 2016 after President Trump won the election. He was not sworn in yet. Obama decided to give $400 million in cash to Iran.
Yeah.
I believe it was after Trump won it. Maybe it was a bit before that, but it was in 2016. Yeah. And now we find out that Biden, he's been giving sanction relief in the form of what I think we've seen as much as $100 billion to Iran throughout his term. And he has done so again, just as he's leaving office. And all this while knowing that they have had a hit out on President Trump.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's very interesting. Again, Kamala Harris tried to chastise Trump about what he says about the enemy within. I've talked about it. I've heard Tucker talk about it. Rogan's talked about it. It is a very seemingly real thing that there are people who, I mean, we see it with the woke types. They don't like America. They're burning American flags. I think that same type of energy exists in the government as well. And they're just a little better at hiding it. And yeah. But let's play this clip and learn a little bit.
The root of all evil here is Iran.
Oh, let me slow it down. I always have it on double speed. You know me. I like to listen to it as fast as possible. Here, Lindsey Graham, I know what he's going to say. I just don't know why they didn't give the money to me. I mean, I've been asking for all sorts of money, and for some reason, they're not giving me the money. I just want, $1 billion, please? Can we go to war? Is anybody up for some war?
The root of all evil here is Iran. There is no Hamas without Iran. 93% of their budget comes from the Iranian Ayatollah. Hezbollah is a complete subsidiary of the Iranian Ayatollah. So at the end of the day, the Houthis survive on money from the Ayatollah.
So now we learned Tehran's going to get richer. Lindsey Graham sounding the alarm. Administration greenlights roughly $10 billion for Iran. State Department insists it's only for humanitarian aid. Sounds familiar, does it not? Jillian Turner's following the money from the State Department to explain this. Jillian.
Good morning to you, Bill. So the Biden administration is renewing what is called a sanctions waiver. It's going to allow the Iranian regime imminently to access $10 billion in frozen funds that are being held inside Iraq. This is a decision that comes as Iranian-backed forces are continually attacking U.S. forces inside the Middle East. Now, despite, I think, a total, we're looking at 56 strikes now in 29 days, State Department officials insist they are unconcerned about the prospect of that money being used to fund terrorists. Listen.
We don't worry about optics, we worry about reality. And the reality is that these funds, as I said, can only be used for humanitarian and other non-sanctionable purposes.
This waiver allows Iraq to pay Iran for electricity. It's going to go through European and Omani banks. Iraq imports as much as 40% of its power supply from Iran. It was just 2 months ago the Biden administration released $6 billion of frozen Iranian funds as part of a prisoner swap deal. Now, Republican lawmakers are calling for increased sanctions against Tehran. Listen.
There is a whole suite of things we can be doing right now as a country to weaken Iran and choke them off. This is just good old-fashioned, hard reimposition of serious sanctions.
Well, Iran's Ayatollah recently bragged that should the regime gain access to billions of dollars in unfrozen funds, they will use it, spend that money however they see fit, including funding Hamas terrorists. Now, the State Department tells us, Bill, by way of defense, that they have indeed applied 400 new sanctions against Iran since they've been in office. Back to you.
Man, no way he said that. He was just like, yeah, listen. Maybe I'll spend it on food. Maybe some on water. Maybe I'll throw some at Hamas. I mean, we're talking about $10 billion here, guys. He's like, there's enough to go around. I'm going to check if Pakistan's doing okay. I'm going to spread it around. It's ridiculous. Come on. If he actually said that and they were like, well, just, all right, spend it in good health, sir. Like, what are they talking about, man?
Oh, didn't that spokesman just say that they're absolutely certain that every dollar is going to go towards humanitarian purposes because
Yes.
Iraq has just really got their shit together and know exactly what to do? I mean, they're a very strong, morally standing and good ethic nation that we have to absolutely trust their word and how it's going to be spent. How can they ever even come out and look us straight in the face and tell us that?
Yeah, it's weird. It's actually really weird. Really weird that this is happening. Really weird that it's his second time doing this. And then you're telling me Obama did it as well. It's just like, oh, man. You know, it's funny. I reposted something on X, and it was just like how much people hate Trump, you know, and it's like they hate him so much that they're going to be fighting for like seed oils in their food because they don't like RFK. They're going to be fighting, you know, like they're going to be like, give me my fluoride. And they're going to be doing all this stuff. And it's like, they hate him so much that they're just like, I'm going to fund Iran. It's like, you hate him that much? Like, you're going to still live here, right? Like, it's going to be a problem. Potentially, maybe. you know?
Well, he's trying to appease the radical left and those that fundamentally want to undermine and destroy America. So, I mean, when you're going forward and appeasing these kinds of people, there's no limits to what you're willing to do. And let's be honest, Biden is not a person of strong moral standards to begin with. I mean, it's the entire family itself is quite questionable if you want to go into that sometime as well.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that. They show Barron Trump and they show Hunter Biden. They're like, somebody raised by Trump, somebody raised by Biden. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, you know, rest in peace. He did have one son that seemed like a good guy, but he sadly passed away. I believe he had brain cancer or something like that, or a tumor or something. But, you know, it's, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Sad to see what's going on with this guy. Let's play this clip. This is from 2023, this clip that you sent me. Same person, same spokesperson talking about this stuff. So let's hear it.
There are speculations on social media that the U.S. is about to waive issue a new waiver on Iran that will allow Iran to access $10 billion. Why, when, how? Anything you can tell us?
I think you certainly shouldn't expect me to comment on speculation on social media, and I will decline to do so. Go ahead, and then we'll wrap it up.
Is it true, though?
Yeah, I think I just answered it, or declined to answer. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Almost a year to the day. No, it's just like a year and a month. And exactly what that gentleman asked about is exactly what they did.
That guy is a snake oil salesman. He has it written all over his face.
This guy?
Yeah.
100%. I mean, just the fact that you're there to answer questions and then you're like, I'm not going to answer that question. I mean, that says enough for me, you know?
Oh, without a doubt.
And then on top of it, it was true. So, you know, he knew that that was actually real and that was something that they were going to do. And, you know, he could have answered why and he could have answered all that stuff, but it looks terrible no matter what. Like, nobody's going to think about this and think this is a good thing that you're doing. It's just not.
No,
not at all.
No, without a doubt.
I didn't actually get to listen to this clip that you sent me. You said this is Ted Cruz, June 15th, 2024. What was he talking about in this one?
I think he was talking about further release of sanctions for Iran.
Okay, let's hear it.
You served for 2 years as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Iran, Iraq, and Public Diplomacy. Then you became the Acting Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for Near Eastern Affairs. What was your role in issuing the waivers giving Iran access to that pot of money?
Thank you very much, Senator. With regard to the $6 billion in question, the
$10 billion, not the
sorry.
not the $6 billion in ransom. That's another problematic decision.
Apologies. With regard to the electricity waivers, I, as Deputy Assistant Secretary, did not have a direct role in that particular decision. That being said, certainly was part of those discussions. As Ambassador Jacobson has noted, the intent behind those waivers was to incentivize the Iraqi government.
I'm not asking about the intent. Did you support those waivers?
I was not in a decision-making capacity.
Did you agree with the decision?
I would have to review, Senator. Yes, I believe that incentivizing Iraq to divest itself of Iranian oil is positive.
Okay, Ambassador Jacobson, these waivers will have to be renewed this summer or they expire. If confirmed, would you support reissuing those waivers?
So I'd note that those waivers have spanned at least 2 administrations and been renewed 21 times since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I take heart from the commitment of the government of Iraq to achieve energy independence by 2030.
That's not an answer to the question. Would you support reissuing those waivers?
Well, I don't think it would be up to me, and I would be more than interested in serving as part of the conversation.
There is a consistent pattern in this administration of giving money to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us. $100 billion to the Ayatollah Khamenei is the single most catastrophic foreign policy decision of this administration. And today, this administration continues to refuse to enforce the oil sanctions, enriching the Ayatollah, funding Hamas, funding Hezbollah, funding those who are murdering Israelis and trying to murder Americans? How does it make sense?
Wow. Wow.
Just a cruise missile right there.
Cruise missile. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is very interesting. Somebody here said you're working yourself up into a frenzy of tired mega lies. Let me just anybody who knows me knows you can catch me in the comment section. You sure about that? Because this was months ago. This is months ago. How about today? You sure about that? You sure about that? Let's reply to that person.
Yeah, but he said something that's so true, though.
Huh?
He said something so true, though. Like, why do they keep giving so much money to theocratic lunatics who want to undermine and destroy the United States? Who on earth does that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're literally trying to commit suicide at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd one. It's a very odd thing to be doing.
It's orchestrated.
Yeah,
it's intentional.
That's where you have to go with it, because the explanations otherwise are always they're not good. They just don't make any sense.
The only other thing that can make sense is that our politicians are being blackmailed, which then again is possible, but even that in itself then is another massive problem for America and the world.
I mean, it's not only possible, it's happening, right? So, I mean, we know it's happening. You know, with everything we've learned about all these lists and all this stuff going on, we know that that's not just a thing in the air. That's a real thing. Breaking news. Where was that breaking news there? That was Kash Patel. I guess it was confirmed that the current bureau that he's going to be taking over was actually spying on him. How about that? I'm not surprised. Not
no
surprised.
surprises there. Not one bit.
Absolutely ridiculous. I think we'll have to talk about this topic more, about ABC having to pay Trump. Oh man, I can't wait for that. But I can't wait for Trump to talk about that a little more. But that's it, man. We went through everything we were covering today. You did it. You walked through the fire, the soul not for sale fire. I want to do this weekly. You know, I'm hoping to get it done on like Fridays, have it up for like Saturday, and just start bringing people just a weekly breakdown of what's going on, you know?
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah. I think that would be a great thing to do. I know people have been asking for it for a long time. You know, they've been like, why don't you cover other topics? And, for myself, everything happens in steps. I don't do things according to what the audience pushes for, but you have to do things as it comes. So as we're entering into 200,000 subscribers, now things begin to change a little bit. Just a nice weekly show, just to add something a little bit to the channel. Then it's going to be the comedy shows. Then it's going to be the live podcast. It's like we're just doing everything in steps here. But thank you so much for being the person to do this with me. 100%. It is an honor to bring you through the podcast ranks and to watch you have a channel of your own with 200,000 subscribers one day. It's going to be great.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I guess we'll just end it off here, guys. Soul Not For Sale podcast. You guys already know. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Hank Unfiltered. I think you're gonna be putting up some kind of video first, and
yes,
then we're gonna put this out. So Hank Unfiltered. You have no idea how excited I am about that name and that branding. I am so excited about Hank Unfiltered. It's a great name. It's fantastic. It's gonna be solid. You can call your viewers the Unfiltered Nation. I mean, it's just so good. I can't wait. I'm gonna make you a shirt that says Unfiltered.
Please do. Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you. 100%. I'm doing that.
Yeah, you can find me at Hank Unfiltered on YouTube if you want to see some more content on my end over here. It's going to be a new channel I'm going to be starting, and I definitely want that shirt, Colin. So let's get that going.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Hank, hang out with us. I'm just going to sign off. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.